planning to apply for the USA visa and feeling overwhelmed by the DS-160 form? Look no further because I've got you covered. In this video, I would walk you through every section of the DS-160 form and provide you valuable tips and tricks on how to fill the form accurately and efficiently. Whether you're a first-time applicant or you just need a fresher, this video will aid you to be fully prepared for a successful visa application. Kindly share this video with anyone you know who is preparing for the USA visa interview. Thank you for subscribing and smashing the like button. My name is Esther. Welcome back to another episode on the Visa Experience series. Let's get started. This is the official website where you would complete the online non-immigrant visa application, that is the DS-160. I'll put the link to this website in the video description below, so look out for that. Before you start your application, I would advise you have two of your documents with you. The first is your Form I-20 and the second is your CV or your resume. You would need information from these two documents to complete your application. Also, I would want you to scroll down on this website to see this additional information. The first is write down the application ID, which is displayed on the top right hand corner of the page. I'll show you the application ID shortly. Also, ensure you save your application frequently because the system will time out after 20 minutes of inactivity and you're going to lose all unsaved information. I'll also show you how to do that in this video. Now, to get started, you want to select a location where you'll be applying for this visa. In some countries, there are more than one US embassy. You want to be sure you know how many embassies are in your country and be sure to know which of the USA embassy you'll be submitting your application. So let's go ahead and select one. For the sake of this video, I'm going to use my country, Nigeria. So let's scroll down to Nigeria. In Nigeria, there are two embassies, one in Abuja and one in Lagos. I'm going to choose the Abuja embassy for this video. Next, it will require you to enter the code as shown below. If you don't see this code properly, you can always use these two arrows to refresh the code. Make sure you are entering the code appropriately. So let's go ahead and enter that code. That is B33B. Then when you're done entering the code, you scroll down and you see start an application. When you click on start an application, it will bring you to this page where you just have to scroll down. Ensure you click I agree. After clicking I agree, you would see your application ID right here. Make sure you write down this application ID in a safe place because this is the application ID you would need anytime you need to retrieve your application. The next is going to be a security question. If you're not comfortable with this security question given, you can click on this arrow and you will see different questions where you can select from. Make sure you click a question that you can easily remember. For the sake of this video, I'm going to use the given security question, which is the given name of your mother's mother, and I'm going to put Esther for my answer. And the next is I'm going to hit continue. Now, when you click on continue, it will bring you to the personal information page 1. This personal information section is divided into two, the section 1 and the section 2. And you just go ahead and enter your information. So the first is your surname, your given name, full name in native alphabet. If you have that, you put it. If you don't, you can click on does not apply. Have you ever used other names? If you have, maybe maiden names, religion name, professional alias, etc., you put that. If not, you can click on no. The next is, do you have a telecode that represents your name? No. Then you can select your sex, which is your gender, female, your marital status. You put in information for your date of birth. You put in information for your city of birth, your state of birth. If it does not apply, you can easily go ahead and click on does not apply. Your country of birth, I'm going to select Nigeria. Okay. When you scroll down, you can either save your application, which, as I've advised before at the beginning of this video, ensure you save your application frequently. You can easily come back to retrieve your application. So I'll show you. This is how you just click on save, and that will show you a save confirmation page. If you want to continue the application at the sitting, you can click on continue application, or if you want to come back to this application later, you can always click on exit application. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to click on continue application, and all I want to do is just click on next, and that will bring me to the personal information section too. On this page, you just have to click on the details for your originality. That's selecting your country of nationality, and that's going to be Nigeria for me. Do you hold or have held any nationality other than the one indicated above? No. Oh, sorry, no. Are you a permanent resident of a country? No. National identification number does not apply. US social security number does not apply. US taxpayer ID number does not apply. You can click on save also, or you move to the next section of the application. On this next section of the application, this is your travel information. And when you're filling this, you need to provide the following information concerning your travel plans. This is where your I-20 comes in. So the purpose of your trip to the US, you're going to select academic or language student, that is F. And you will specify, I'm going to choose F1. Have you made specific travel plans? Guys, you have to be careful when selecting your answer to these questions. Even if you have made specific travel plans, it is usually advised and of your best interest to select no. For the intended date of arrival, you can put maybe like few weeks to the start of your class. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to put a later date in this month. Let me choose 30th May 2023. Intended length of stay in the USA. You're going to put the number of years for your study, either master's or PhD. And for that, I'm going to put 2 years, and you have to select one. If it is in months, years, weeks, of course, it's going to be yes. Now, the next question is going to ask you address where you would stay in the USA. Please, please, and please, even if you have a family member in the USA, do not put their information in this section. Don't put the information of your friends also. You can put any address of the on-campus house residency as you wish. I remember when filling my form, I used the graduate housing option available on my campus, and I'm just going to put that information right here. The street address, this is optional. If you know it, you can put it. If you don't know it, you can just leave that blank. But I have the street address that I used during my previous application, so I'm going to put that. And you're going to put the city, and you're going to select the state. If you know the zip code, you enter the zip code. Make sure you know the correct zip code that you are going to be using. Now, this part is very tricky. Person or entity paying for your trip. For you to select your answers, make sure your answer corresponds with your sponsor on your I-20. So if you've selected, maybe you're going to cover your deficit on your I-20. If you have your deficit, you can select self. If you have a full scholarship that is going to cover all your expenses in the USA, you can put employer in the USA, or you put other company organization. If you've selected maybe your uncle or your parent is going to be your sponsor on your I-20, then you can put other person. If you've selected a company to be your sponsor on your I-20 form, make sure you put other company or organization. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to use self, and then you click on. So you see what I'm saying? I have not saved my previous application before the section timed out. Now I have to go back and put in other application. Once the section timed out while filling your information, all you have to do is click on the location again. So you have to scroll and you look for the location where you started your application. You put the code as shown below. I can't see this code well, so I'm going to refresh, and I have a new code, so I'm going to enter that, and that is AH85U. And what I want to do this time around is not start an application but retrieve an application. So let's go ahead and click on retrieve an application. Now it's going to ask you for your application ID, so you have to go back to where you've saved your application ID and enter that in this section. So I have my application ID right here, and you just click on retrieve application. After entering your application ID, the next will be for you to enter the security questions, and before that you enter the first 5 letters of your surname, the year of birth, and your mother's name, and then you go ahead and retrieve application. Before the session timed me out, I just completed the personal information page, but I couldn't save while entering my travel information. So I'm going to go back to travel, and I'm going to select purpose of trip to the USA. We did that already. Academic or language student. Specify student F1. Have you made travel plans? We selected no. Intended date of arrival, I'm going to select ending of this month, May. Intended length of stay in the USA, we selected 2 years. And where you will stay in the USA, I already provided that information, so I'm just going to go ahead and quickly enter that information as fast as possible. So now that we completed this section of the application, the next is to click on next to take us to the travel companions section. So if you have someone traveling with you, you can click on yes, which is where you're going to provide their information, and you can see, are you traveling as part of a group or organization? You can select as it applies. For the sake of this video, because I traveled alone, I'm also going to use no one is traveling with me, so no. And the next will be to go to previous US travel. Have you ever been in the USA? No. Have you ever been issued a US visa? No. Have you ever been refused a US visa or been refused admission to the United States? No. Has anyone ever filed an immigrant petition on your behalf with the US Citizenship and Immigration Services? No. Then you click on next. Here is where you would enter the details of your home address and your phone number, your mailing address. If it is not the same as your home address, you can put that. For secondary phone number, if it does not apply, you can click on does not apply. Your email address, you can put in your email address. Have you ever used any other email address in the last 5 years? In this section, I would advise you do yes. This section, you can put in your new school email address, because obviously that is where you would receive your form I-20, and you must have set up your email address for your new school. So, and that email address is what you've used also within the last 5 years. So you can click on yes, and then you can provide the additional email address, which is the email address of your school. For social media presence, this is a very, very tricky question, and I would advise, if you're filling this section in your DS-160 form, ensure you put only your LinkedIn profile. This was what I did when I was applying for my USA visa from Nigeria. I only used my LinkedIn profile, and then I put in my social media identifier, which was my LinkedIn name. And then you go ahead. Do you wish to provide information about your presence on other websites or application? Please select no. So next is for you to go to the next section, which is your passport information. Once you are at the passport information page, you can go ahead and put in your passport information, regular, passport or travel document number, passport book number. If you have one, you put it. If not, you put does not apply. Country or authority that issued the passport, you put your country. The city where the passport document was issued. Have you ever lost a passport or had one stolen? No. When you're done with that, and then you click on next, this is where you're going to need your I-20 again. So your US point of contact person or organization in the USA. Make sure you're putting your DSO information. The information for your DSO, the names and the organization name will be on your I-20. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to use my name. And then organization name, you're going to put the name of your school. Relationship to you, you're going to put school official. And then after filling the relationship as the school official, you can put the address and the phone number of your point of contact. This address, you can find it in your form I-20, or you can just look up your school's address online. So you select state, zip code, the phone number. There will always be a phone number on Google if you check that online. And then you click on next, which is your family information. Now under family information and relatives, you have to enter your father's full name and date of birth. If you don't know your father's full name and date of birth, you can just put do not know. So I'm just going to go ahead. Surnames, given names, I'm going to use Esther. Date of birth, if you know, you put you know. If you don't know, you just click on do not know. Is your father in the USA? You click no. Mother's full name and date of birth, given names, date of birth, don't know. Is your mother in the USA? No. Do you have any immediate relatives, not including parents, in the United States? If you do, click on yes. If you don't, you click on no. Then you go ahead and click on next. Now for this next section, which requires your work, education and training information, this is where you need your CV or your resume. Your primary occupation, I'm just going to select physical sciences. You can put in information for your present employer. Put all the information for your present employer. Zip code does not apply. For the phone number, you put the phone number. The start date for that employment, I'm just going to put maybe a day before now, just to fill this form. Here you put your monthly income in local currency. Briefly describe your duties. So this is where you're going to write the duties or the roles you have from your CV, and you're just going to describe that based on what you do. This next section requires you to put in further information regards your previous work, education and training information. Were you previously employed? So this is where you put information for the last 5 years that you were employed, if applicable. So I can click on no. Have you attended any educational institutions at a secondary school level or above? You can go ahead and click on yes also, and put in the information for all the degrees you have. That is, for your bachelor's degree, you put that information. For the sake of this video, let's click on yes. So you're going to put the name of your institution where you had your bachelor's degree, state and province if it applies, the postal zone or zip code. If you're not sure, just put does not apply. Your course of study, and the date attendance from when you started the course to when you ended the course. I'm just going to put any dates. And then if you have other institutions where you have previous degree, you can go ahead and add another, and then when you're done with that, you click on next. This will bring you to the page where you would enter your work, education or trade related information. Do you belong to a clan or tribe? If you do, you can go ahead and click yes. And then you enter your tribe name. You provide a list of language that you speak, and you can do English. Have you traveled to any country or regions within the last 5 years? Have you belonged to, contributed to, or work in any other professional, social, or charitable organization? If you have, you can click on yes, and this is where you're going to put information of the organization, that is your voluntary experience. For the sake of this video, I'm going to click on no. Have you ever had any specialized skills training? If you do, click on yes and put the information. If not, just select no. Have you ever served in the military? No. Have you ever served or been in a member involved in paramilitary unit? No. And when you're done with this page, you go to next. Now, this next page will be asking you for questions relating to security and background. And in most cases, most of your answers will be no. But make sure you read the questions correctly before selecting the appropriate answer. For the security and background part 2, you also have further questions which involves have you been arrested or convicted for any offenses or crime. You go ahead and select no, except otherwise. Most of those questions on this security part is going to be no, but make sure it is no before you select no. There is also a part 3 to the security and background questions. So you just make sure you go ahead and select no or yes as the case applies. And then security background question. This is the last part of the security and background questions. The next section is the additional point of contact information. And in this section, you are going to give information of at least 2 contacts in your country of residence who can verify the information you've provided. I remember during my application, I put in information for one of my recommenders from my undergraduate school, and I also put in information for my employer. So you can go ahead and do the same thing. You put state, postal code does not apply, phone number if you have it, if you don't, you put does not apply. You enter the next contact, does not apply, does not apply, and does not apply. And then you go ahead to the next section where you will enter your service information. On this part of your service information, you're also going to be needing your I-20 here. Make sure you put in your service information correctly. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in my information. And then you're going to put the name of your school, you're going to put your course of study. All this information would be on your I-20. And then when you're done filling this information, you can click on save and then continue your application. And then the next would be for you to enter and upload your photo. Make sure you upload a photo that meets the photo requirement for this application. And once you're done uploading your photo, you're just going to come here and click on confirm photo and complete your application. Note that you can submit this DS-160 application within 72 to 48 hours before your interview. So do not rush to fill and submit your form. Ensure that you get someone with experience to help you review this form before you submit it. Save the confirmation page after submitting it and make sure you keep a personal copy of the form for yourself. That way you'll be able to review all the information you fill in your DS-160 while you're preparing for your visa interview, because the information on this form will be used in addition to how you answer your interview questions to determine if your visa will be approved or not. So you don't want to give a different answer during your interview from what is on your DS-160 form. So guys, don't forget, keep a personal copy for yourself and review the information you provided while you're preparing for your interview. If you want to know the document checklist you need to have with you when going for your visa interview, click on this video right now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on another episode of the Visa Experience series. Till then guys, stay tuned.